YouTube. Time for your daily dose of sunshine, even though I had to... Beeps. Even though I had to close the window because I'll do this. You can't see anything. So... maybe it's not actually sunshine out there. I just get a bit cheesed off looking... The world. Yeah. So... And before I go on, I'm going to try and do this every day this week. I'm playing the After the End Black Sabbath band are supporting Aranthrax in the Dreadnought in Bathgate, so pop along if you want, that'd be great. Their first gig this year. Determined that we're going to do more than one gig this year. Which probably beeps. So that's been 3 years I've been in that band. Had a few gigs lined up, did one singer quit. Following year got a much better singer. Sorry, we got a better. No, I don't want to say that. It's not very nice. We got another singer who's better. Yeah, got some gigs lined up. Did one lockdown, and then last year we managed to played a party in November. So 3 years, 3 gigs. This year we're gonna do more than one gig. I am totally determined to. Quite looking forward to it actually. So. This is a Yamaha Revstar, and it's the 320 model, the RS320, in basically brand new condition. I don't know how the serial numbers in Yamahas don't tend to work. HMZ05. There's no way this is 15 years old, unless it was 15 years old and then shrink wrapped, carbon frozen for 2005, 17 years. No, there's no way. 2005, 2015. Yeah, there's no way this is 17 years old, so it's basically new, I think. So I mean, I've got a lot of time for these guitars. I've played a few of them. I've played a few of the more expensive ones. This is the basic model, but it's like the same as kind of like the guitars I like. When you start going up the range, obviously the pickups get slightly better and stuff like that. But the main difference is you get like a fancy top, tone plastic binding. All these things. My pal, I was playing my pal Taylor's one the other day, and his has got like a big metal thing here instead of a stop tailpiece, which you can kind of sort of almost get a Bigsby type effect on. But I mean, that's just a big piece, an obviously more expensive thing, which arguably makes a difference to the sound. But I mean, tunematic things kind of pretty much well known. Also, this one doesn't have the... Oh, that's why it's a wee bit... No, tone control was all the way down. These often have a push-pull pot on the tone control, which is a bass cutoff switch. So it kind of goes for along the lines of turning your humbuckers into a sort of more single coily type thing by taking away the bass. I basically, my pal Ian lent me one of these a couple of years ago, and I took the switch to bits, worked out how it worked. So I've been stealing it basically, and I've got capacitors to do that. So that's probably, I'll probably be fitting this to this just because I need to buy a push-pull pot to do that though. Rather than a coil split. There'd be no point in having it and a coil split, I don't think, because it kind of does the same. Basically, it always seems, whenever you start messing about with pickups, every guitar I get, I always seem to, it's like, you know, give me a Strat, I'll make switches to make it sound a bit more like a Gibson, or give me a Gibson, I'll put switches in it to make it more sound like a Fender. That seems to be the main thing you do when you're talking about modding a guitar or putting switches in. You're basically making a Gibson-y type guitar sound more like a Fender, or a Fender-y type guitar sound more like a Gibson. But I mean, this thing, it's kind of flawless, really. I'm not talking about, it's pretty much mint condition, so the finish is flawless, but just, it's a set neck. It's this amazing sort of, it's not quite candy apple red. Obviously there's bad light today because it's, if I do this, you can't really, maybe if I do that, it's somewhere in the middle. If I've got partial curtain, sort of, you can't see it. It looks a lot darker than it in the video than it is actually in real life. 2 humbuckers, 3-way blade switch, volume and a tone. Pretty simple. I'm not really sure what you'd say it was a copy of. It's not. To me, it's kind of looks a bit like a Rickenbacker, maybe. Shape-wise, no, it's not hollering like that. It's a solid body. Maybe a little bit like the Yamaha SG. A bit, but it's probably, you know, a couple of millimeters wider, but it kind of looks bigger. doesn't feel particularly big, but it looks much bigger than a Les Paul, and a flat top, and an unnecessary scratch plate. Yeah, so playing through my new orange, which you can't see because I'm standing in front of it. I remember before trying to see it so you could see it. If I kind of lean against the settee like this, you can see the amp. It's on clean and half power in the back, so it's currently running at 7.5 watts. Bridge pickup. Both pickups. Sounds a wee bit jazzy there by just playing chords that aren't in the right key. No tone. Neck pickup, no tone. Which obviously has its place. And as my favourite joke of the current thing is it's like that'd be your Eric Clapton's woman tone, and it's like I don't know what woman Eric Clapton's been talking to, but for me a woman tone should be Telecaster bridge pickup, treble up full, like that, rather than being a sort of oh you're doing that wrong. No, it should be oh you're doing that wrong. Sexism, love it. What's wrong with being sexy? Yeah. So, down at the top, we've got quite a subtle. It's got quite like the Yamaha logo, kind of like three tuning forks. It doesn't actually even say Yamaha on it. Does have a sticker on the back saying made in Indonesia. Decent tuners, like good tuners. Not branded, but good. The neck profile is very much a Gibson SG. I would say it's like a Les Paul, but I don't have a Les Paul. I'd just say it's very like my 1991 Gibson SG. Very similar. The nut is cut well. 21 fret, 2 frets. 15, 17, 19, 21, 22 frets. Humbuckers, Tunematic. Not much to say. It's got a nice volute in the back to make it not unlike a real Gibson, where it's specially designed so if you drop it the head snaps off. This should be less likely to snap off should you drop it. Not that you want to drop it, of course. And it balances perfectly. It's a very practical guitar. In the land of grey and pink, where only by scouts start to think they'll be coming back again. Those nasty, grumpy grimblies, and they're climbing down the chimney. Yes, they're trying to get in. Come to take your money. Isn't it a sin? They're so thin. There's my pockets in the skin. Can't remember it. So we sailed away for just one day to the land where the buckwheat grows. Pick up all the money, just fingers and our toes. And when it's dark, a boat will part to the land of Woburn Green. Pick a fill of buckwheat and smoke it till we bleed. That's all we'll need. Actually, I'm always saying, I've said it every video so far, it's like I always think that single coils are better for clean. But actually this amp seems to be working quite well. This is a clean channel. It's not 100% super clean. I think maybe if I had it running at full power I'd get a bit more headroom. Or maybe it's just because my Carlton amp gives actual super clean. This is not, it's not particularly clean. It's still got a little bit of grit to it, which is actually sounded really nice. I'm really enjoying playing this. That's why I did a wee impromptu caravan song there. And that's actually the album that's from here, In the Land of Grey and Pink, signed by the band. Only one of them is still in the band, Pied Hastings, the singer, but I mean... I'm going to have to try some distortion. I've been using my Gojira Effects fuzz pedal. It's only got one knob, but I've been really enjoying it. It's one of those things that even like because it's a Yamaha, I suppose I'm maybe a bit brand snobbery about these things. I've not even looked or thought about issues with the guitar. Even if you're buying a Gibson or something like that, still a bit of shit finishing round about the neck pocket. It's like, this isn't very good, and it's like the frets haven't been done. You just don't look at it, the Yamaha. It's like, obviously it's going to be fine unless it's been dropped or someone's been at it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it will be good. And all these things like that. Last week when I was up at Scott's with that Harley Benton, with, you know, the neck being at a stupid angle and all that stuff, that just none of that at all. This is perfect. My things against the downside, I think, is it's not a super interesting looking guitar for me, but that's a personal taste thing. I mean, it is very pretty though. I do quite like it. Mind you, I never really liked the SG, the Yamaha SG. I don't really like the shape of it. There's something, I don't know, I might just have poor taste. I think this is a prettier guitar than an SG, even though expect like that. Well, that's a 200. The 2000's like an incredibly fancy guitar that I've never obviously owned because they were always expensive. They were just well known when they came out that basically this is better than a Gibson Les Paul. There's no arguing. It's a better guitar. And it's famously better. I mean, I know that my Washburn Wings are as well, but the Yamaha, that's why you never ever saw them cheap, and you see so many folk using them and still using them because they were the best guitar you could buy in the world at the time. But still, shape wise, bit ugly. That's the downside. I mean, and other than that, I honestly don't even think it needs. I had a look at maybe putting coil splits and stuff. It doesn't need it. I'm going to put the push-pull pot in just to make it the same as the ones that are higher up, because I was quite impressed with how well that worked. I mean, I've been putting it into various bucky casters, but I've been using it on a knob so that it was like a gradual bass roll off, basically the same as a tone control, apart from the tone control takes away the treble, this takes away the bass. So basically if you turn them both down, you end up with pretty much no sound. You get a wee bit in the middle, you know, zucking it away, but it does give it a bit more of a single coily sound. But I do like the actual standard sound that comes out this. So I'll stick in a wee, assuming this is all, how am I going to play this? bit of space magic fly there. Bit of distortion. I go for the rat pedal. That fuzz pedal doesn't really sound that different to the rat, really, does it? Organic Jers from Iron Maiden, which you forgot about. See? But I could honestly just sit there, which we're probably actually going to do, sit and play this quite a lot of the day, even though I do have guitars to do, and my god, was that a long sentence, but I didn't take any breaths. Yeah. No, this guitar is amazing. I've gone from thinking it's really good to actually just playing it there. It's so easy to play. I mean, you can kind of tell that when I'm playing. It's like I attempted to do diddly 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 with one foot, and it was kind of, let's not say it was musically perfect or good, but it was kind of doing what I thought. I was surprised that it was actually sort of working. It can't be that I'm getting better at doing it. It's just that some guitars just are that easy and that comfortable, and maybe it's a trust thing. I just trust it to be right, and it's like, you know, talking about the frets are all perfect. There's no, obviously, we're not even talking about sharp fret ends, don't even go there. Not going to happen on a guitar like this. It should be the industry standard, basically. Just preconceptions put you out. I mean, even there's so much. I was talking to my pal Ian about this yesterday. It's like, forget what I could. Even before you start playing it, feel like that it works. There's a certain way you're going to play a certain shape of guitar, and for me, that was what I think this sounds like. Whereas if you put me on like a, you know, an Ibanez RG or something metally, I'll play it differently. You put me in a Telecaster, I play different things on that. Before I've even picked the guitar up, no idea what it sounds like, no idea what it plays like. I look at it and in my head it goes, oh, I think that'll do this. And that's what I try and do in it. Not consciously, but I'm aware of it. I mean, this guitar's awesome. If you've only got one guitar, have one of these, really. Really, I'll get into this thing about collecting guitars, so I'm much more interested in 80s Japanese things. But to be honest, the quality difference, not when you get to this thing. I mean, the quality difference between like an 80s Japanese guitar and a modern guitar, excluding this or some Ibanez, in my experience, is okay. You get good quality guitars if you're spending a couple of £1,000. Yes, I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure that your custom shops and all that, you know, I'm sure they're very nice. But this actually LTD kind of fall into that category a little bit as well, where you're just getting a guitar that, whether they're super good at quality control and stuff like that, you know, they're uncommonly good to get when you buy an Ibanez, or I think, as I say, I'm putting LTD into that new category, even though I don't like the shapes of them, so I'm not an LTD fan. And Yamaha, are they super good, or is everyone else shit? You know, it's like that's either the case of are these guitars what you should be getting, whereas the other ones aren't, or are they good and these are just amazing? So I kind of want to keep it, to be honest. I could take this. I think we've maybe got a gig on the 1st of July in Cumbernauld in Cranking House. The band I play guitar in, and it's like, we're not ready for that at all. But this would give me a certain amount of comfort, maybe. But then, see, there's the other thing comes in. As I said, this has got nil marks on it at all. I'm going to gig it. It's like, so basically that's when I'm going to dent it, isn't it? If it's too nice. Whereas all my other guitars, every other one of them is all big chunks out it. So you could drop it and scrape it along the concrete, and then the following day go, so which of the dents are new, rather than being, I've dented it. I'm a wee bit concerned with this strap button. I think it's for strap locks, actually. I don't know if that's an original feature, but it's not particularly steep sides. So it's kind of, I've got a wee bit of a worry that that's going to fall off, maybe. Obviously, if you bought strap locks or bought one of those wee plastic, I've got them on one of the guitars, you get like 2 wee plastic discs that spin together to lock the strap on. But I think it's because it's for whether they're upgraded or not to take strap. You know, I don't really like the strap locks, to be honest. You know, the big, it's like a big metal hook thing that goes on with a thing you pull out. Mainly because you put that into the bottom of the guitar and then you try and lean it against your amp or something, and it's like having a spike on the bottom, so it will fall over. So whether you're more likely to damage the guitar by the strap coming off, that could happen, but at least then, you've seen it happen in plenty of my videos, the strap comes off, at least you're holding on to the guitar, and I've just got the, you know, your initial reaction is to just clamp up, so whatever you're doing, it's like, so the guitar doesn't fall. Whereas if you've got it leaning against your amp and it's like on a spike, you know, sitting on a thing that's an inch long, you're not necessarily going to be standing near it when it falls over. So especially if you, what often happens, you know, if you accidentally stand on a lead or something and pull it over, it just goes donk, which is what happened with my Gibson SG and why the headstock got snapped on that. Not a good thing. So sorry about the half hour again, but I don't know, it's nice to get back to doing sort of normal videos, and I was feeling a wee bit pissed off just looking up at, well, maybe it's the YouTube algorithm, isn't it? Once you look up one depressing thing, lots of depressing things come up, so I was like looking up, I don't know, it was like looking at the real strikes and cost of living and all that, and you click on one and the Ukraine war, and oh, the Ukraine caster's gone to the right guy. I put it up for sale last night. I was just going to sell it for 100 quid, and then I was just going to give that money to Ukraine, and this guy is from Edinburgh, so I'm meeting him at the gig in Bathgate. He's going to drive over. He is Ukrainian and has lived here for 16 years, and he, over the summer, is planning on busking to raise money for Ukraine. So it's like, well, there isn't a better guitar to be raising money for Ukraine than having one that's painted like it. So basically, he's getting it. Perfect. Yeah, so it's not only going to be the 100 quid that I get for it. So like, it pretty much cost me 50 quid excluding time to build it. You know, I put my time in free, and then I'm just going to give that away, and then it will work. So who knows how much it could generate. So it's like, I'm pleased with that. I'm quite chuffed that. That was my good news last night. It was like, yeah, got to the right person. I mean, it's all obviously all awful lot political, and my pal, when I was down at Download, he's Slovakian, and he was putting, it's like the BBC's lying, and it's like, well, let's be honest, I'm Scottish, I know the BBC doesn't tell the truth. The truth somewhere between what the BBC says and what the Nazis say, you know, it's like, it's kind of, there's all that. I wish it wouldn't it be nice if you could actually just get the truth news, where it's like the one that's not got an agenda, that's not being paid for by somebody who stands to make a lot of money. If you think A, it's like, oh, the news is it. The answer is A. It's definitely A. It's definitely not B. B's bad. A. Who pays for the news? Oh, it's the person who stands to make a lot of money. If you believe A, you know, it just seems it's a bad system. It's 1984. I wish they would. 1984, the book was meant to be a warning, not a handbook. Oh, I got depressed again, but it's all sunshine and good. You know. Today is the longest. Happy solstice. We are getting, what is it, 17 and a half hours of sunlight. I said sunlight. The sun's never been out for 17 hours in Scotland, but daylight, hopefully, today. So this is the night that you want to, the longest day. Up being here near the Arctic Circle, or well, not really near the Arctic Circle, but we're actually further north than Moscow. You know that? Well, I was looking at a map and I was like, my God, Scotland's higher up than North Moscow is, just because we've got wind coming up from the Mexican Gulf. The Gulf Stream kind of blows from Mexico. They'll try and do this in inverse. America, Britain, yeah. So the warm, weather kind of comes from the Gulf Stream, goes like that, and then comes up through Britain. So that's why we are, even though Moscow's over here and lower down and more south, it doesn't have this wet Gulf Stream thing. So it's much colder over there. And that's geography. Rock on. And come see me on Saturday night. And I'm going to send you a link to my Chaos Box Productions from my wee brother's film company. which I've not done yet. But I was talking to him at the weekend there, and he was happy, yeah, watching me doing videos, and basically, like, especially on a Sunday night, you know, it's like, thanks for watching. I know it's kind of a bit off the wall on that. Basically, get a bottle of Bucky, hit record, and then start drinking. And he spends months doing films and stuff, and more people watch the videos of me just getting drunk. So I'm going to try and put him up and watch some of his videos. It turns out that I thought he hadn't been doing anything on YouTube for years. So of course I'm subscribed to my brother's film channel. Of course I am. He's not done anything for about 10 years though. That was his old channel. So I'm now subscribed to his new channel, and he's at 140. So I think, wouldn't it be fantastic if all the people that watch this, if everyone could just subscribe as well, and it would kind of double that. So pure, haha. There you go, little brother. Haha. Yes, I am great. Rock on, love you all. Cheers.